It's 12 o'clock, America, and you're listening to Radio Freedom or something or other. I can't believe I kind of forgot it. Anyways, I got a message
Free
for
America.
a few of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. A chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, America, another day closer to freedom. And for all of you out there on or behind enemy lines, this is your song. All right, well, welcome everyone to the Daily Gun Show. We come to you live every night at midnightish Eastern, and that's some other time, other places. And we have a few hosts. A couple of us are here today. So, you up on the road? How's it going, man?
Good. Thanks for running the show.
Yep, no problem. So, and then of course I'm Smeggy over in Michigan, and that's all we got now. So today's Tuesday, episode 552. Going to be talking about Second Amendment topics. But before we get into that, I should mention we're simulcasting this over on gunchannels.com/Daily Gun Show. Come and check us out over there because that's better than the YouTube chat. But if you're on YouTube, whatever, we'll kind of pay attention to you. Anyway, so anything?
Sounds like Monday is going to be episode 556.
Oh snap! It sure will. That should be fun.
All right.
So, I was just saying, is there anything happen during the day or overnight or anything since the last show?
Well, I set up the show yesterday at 8 p.m. Arizona time, about an hour early for the show. Set it all up, posted the links everywhere. Said, oh, I'm just going to lay down for a moment, rest my eyes, and woke up at 5 a.m. So we didn't do a show last night. I guess nobody did the show last night. So then we, hey, you got your brakes on, okay? For that. And then we did the show quickly this morning, or I guess a replacement show this morning with Tony. So apologize for everybody that showed up for the show last night, got all ready for it. And I guess that'll happen. Otherwise, today was tax day, right? So paid my taxes. Everybody else, did you pay your taxes today?
I did mine on Monday, so I did mine earlier than I normally do.
Right on.
But I felt like I was cheating because it was still past the 15th, so I felt good about it.
Yeah, like you're doing it late, but it's authorized, so yeah. I got mine out right after the show this morning, so didn't even have to wait in line. It wasn't like they kept it open until the last minute. How they do. I didn't have to show up for that rush at least.
Oh.
Taxes.
Yeah.
There you go. Now I'm driving on the road that our taxes paid for.
And you're sitting there going, why are these roads bumpy? I pay my taxes. This is BS.
Nah, the roads are pretty cool. I can at least remember back in the day when roads were shittier and there was fewer of them. So I'm not complaining. I don't mind paying some taxes for an awesome country like this. I wish they would be a little bit more efficient with the way they spend them, but overall, I'm digging it. You're in a great place.
Well, you haven't spent enough time driving around in Michigan then, because our roads suck and we have some of the highest taxes that are supposed to go to the roads, but they spend on other crap. The gas tax where whatever, you pay $3 a gallon and $1.50 of it is taxes. And it's it's one of the highest percentages in the country, yet we have crappy roads. But whatever, this isn't a road chat. The only new gun thing in my life is my buddy brought over his, I'm going to call it arsenal because, that's a cool word. And because that way we're going up north the end of the week. And this way I can just pack up the truck beforehand. And then he's going to come over right after work. And then we're just going to leave. And he had a new gun that I got to play around with. And that is a Mac 10 replica, the Masterpiece Arms.
It's still the lineage of the Mac 10, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, okay. So you just still call it a legit Mac 10, other than not being full auto.
Modern. Yeah, just a modern version of it. It hasn't been full auto. Well, they haven't made full auto for a long time. 86, I guess.
Right. Okay. Well, then I'll just keep calling it a Mac 10 then. But it was pretty neat.
Well,
Although
it's a
it
Mac 11. The Mac 10 is 45 ACP, so Mac 11.
oh, see, I have been messing it up. I thought the 10 was the 9 and the 11 was the 45.
It gets a little weird, and there's some little nuance, but for the general rule, 45 is your 45 ACP. I mean, your 10 is your 45 ACP, and your 11 can either really be a 380, like the original, or 9mm. They bastardized it in 9mm.
Okay.
But
All right.
originally, it was in the two real calibers, 45 ACP and 380. When Ingram made them.
Okay. Well, then I stand corrected. I've been saying it wrong this whole time.
But still, yeah, they got to play with that. You were playing with it in the chats earlier.
Yep. Yeah, I took it all apart for him, cleaned it up. Because, you always got that grease and stuff from the factory that you don't really want to shoot the gun with because then it gets all dirty. I cleaned it all up and lubed it. I mean, it's pretty simple design, so that was pretty cool.
Aren't they? They're just like a couple of pieces of metal folded, and then a big block of metal whittled out, and then you stick a barrel in there. You're done. Awesome.
Yep.
Fold up another piece of metal and some springs. Now you got mags.
Yep. And it's drawn first blood because the mag release thing like extends down kind of far, like it sticks out. And I was holding the mag with like my thumb kind of facing up, and I jammed it in there, and the mag release jammed into the top of my thumb and gave me a little bit of a cut. So
I feel like if I was saying that story, I would have added the words like a spaz in there somewhere.
Oh, well, but that's not an accurate description.
I don't think that thing is going to go around drawing blood unless the like a spaz description gets stuck in there somewhere.
I don't know, whatever. Oh, my only point is that now my buddy can legitimate say this gun's got blood on it. But anyways, we can dive into the show here. Like I mentioned earlier,
Second Amendment Tuesday, right? And we were talking about cars a little bit. And here's the thing that I've been working on, and I like it. So maybe we can hone it a little bit, sharpen it up a little bit, if you're down.
For sure.
So Ghost had a chat the other day where he's like, how do you talk to people and throw some ideas down? And one of mine, I'm honing it from the discussion we had with that anti-guy at the end of the Angry Parade in Phoenix, where everybody wanted to take your rights away. And the kid who had the sign up that said, guns are not the problem, change my mind. And this guy was all mad at the kid, and he was saying some things that opened my eyes to stuff. And I tried to give him a 3-prong, and it wasn't working, so that made me want to tighten up my approach when I'm talking to a real anti-gunner. And I think cars are still potential, and has to do with who was I talking to earlier? Talking to somebody earlier today or the other day, and we brought up. I was talking to Brandon, and he was talking about having a discussion with some people that are super anti-gun that he had guests, his guests, and I looked it up, and it was, if I remember the numbers right, there's like 260 million cars in the country. There's something like 300 million guns. So there's more guns than there are cars. And, you're having a discussion with somebody and you say, well, you drove over here. Did you count how many cars you kept? And they're going to say, of course not. There's too many cars to count. There's a ton of them. There's not quite a car for everybody, but there's certainly a car for every family, right? A car for every household, and probably some households have more than one car. And then you get like fleet vehicles, police departments and stuff, and they got all kinds of vehicles. So if you say there's more guns than cars, you realize that on your way over here, you pass just as many guns. So now they have to realize how many guns there are. And I guess then another facet of it would be the concept that you have ultimate faith in the people that you interact with and the people around, because you drive on roads and you have faith that those people are going to drive according to the law, and they're going to obey the when to turn and when not to go flying through an intersection. You're going to have faith that they're paying attention, and even if they're interested in paying attention to the law, the rules, they're actually paying attention, so they're not distracted or something. You have faith that they're not unhealthy and they haven't like have stroke and are going to careen through an intersection and are in a crowd of people with their vehicle. You have faith that their vehicles are mechanically sound. They know how to operate them and whatnot. So you have all this faith in people. You have no concern at all that you're driving around with all these cars and with all the levels and experience and types of people who are driving these cars. And then again, somehow add in the fact that when you talk about actual fatalities with firearms, even if you count suicides, you're talking 30,000. But if you really remove suicides and you just talk, the homicides, then you're down to, the 7,000 number. And with rifles specifically, you're down under 300. Where with vehicles, what was the number? 1.3 million people killed every year. And that comes out to 30,000 people a day die from a vehicle. And then I think the number was in the tens of millions, 40 million people injured. And I don't know, I think there's something there, no?
Yeah, there's definitely there's a start of something there, because I like the aspect of you trust your fellow citizen to be responsible with their car. Why don't you trust your fellow citizen to be responsible with their gun?
And you do. That's the thing. There's so many guns, and there's all these different kinds of people owning all these different kinds of guns, and nothing really happens. Look at just compared to cars, it dwarfs them. And we don't get scared of cars. We don't go, oh my goodness, 30,000 people are going to die in a vehicle today. I'm not going on the road. I'm not going to drive around with unknown. I'm going to stay on a bus, or I'm going to walk or something.
Right. I mean, I think the biggest counter argument to that analogy, and it always kind of bugs me, because it's like people use analogies to go, this is topic A, it is similar to topic B in these ways, therefore blah blah blah. And then like I gotta hear people saying, oh, but guns were designed to kill people and cars aren't, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? It's like, exactly. That's why they're not exactly the same. I'm not saying it's exactly the same, but it is similar to. And I don't ever really have a good answer when someone says that.
30,000 people die a day compared to, it doesn't matter, whatever the number is that you pick. It's not anywhere near 1,000 a day. It's not even tens a day. 7,000, it would be 10 a day with guns. So, 10 compared to 3,000. It doesn't matter if it's designed to kill or not. We could live in a place where there's public transportation. We could mandate carpools. There could be breathalyzers. I mean, there's all kinds of ways that we could just touch the vehicles and change drastically the 30,000 people a day. So, I guess that's an argument that they're going to come up with. Oh, guns aren't made to kill, or cars aren't made to kill. But again, massive numbers they are killing.
Right. Yeah. If you look at the actual outcome of it, and I don't know the other part, because I'm trying to kind of pick at it just to make it stronger, make it better, or whatever. Because like I said, I do like it, and that's the real part of it is the whole trusting your neighbor thing. Because I know we've talked about this in the past. That is a fundamental difference in the way, like, people who are pro-rights think and people who are anti-rights. And that is, like, I generally believe that the vast majority of people are generally good. You know what I mean? So it's like, let them do whatever they want, because most people will do good things if you let them do whatever they want. Like, if you got rid of every single law, most people would still be good. That's kind of my philosophy. And the other side is scared of their neighbor because, oh, people are bad and they're scary and blah, blah, blah.
If there was
and
no
so
laws,
by pointing out that they don't,
anarchy.
Right, but by pointing out that they don't actually think that everyone's bad, because if they did, you're right, they would avoid cars, because they're letting people drive right next to them. But the other thing pointed out here in the chat over on the gun channel side is, one of the
That's the
flaws with
better
the
side.
car analogy is, and then they bring up licensing and registration.
Even with licensing of cars, which, there's all kinds of thorough licensing. You have to take tests and stuff. 30,000 people die a day.
Right. Yeah, that would be my response too, is like, because I've heard that before with guns. Like, well, you should have to have like a training class to get a gun or something, so you know how to use it. And it's like, well, somehow, even without mandatory training,
Yep.
people are using them safely, and with mandatory training for cars, people are not using them safely.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I'm thinking that it doesn't necessarily have to be like, let's get out a whiteboard and start talking about numbers. But if you, again, just go, there's more guns than there are cars. And how many cars did you pass on the way here? You don't know. Let's look out at the street. How many cars can you count? You can't count them. There's cars everywhere. There's a place to put a car. So how many guns do you think there are? There's that many. Like, put it, just to help conceptualize it. That you can trust all those people. There's nothing to be scared of. All these people had guns today and yesterday and the day before, all the time you were growing up and your grandparents were growing up, and all that were happening is accidents are going down. I don't know if that's enough, but I guess that's what I was thinking, is like there's some way to tell them, like, or to make them realize, oh wow, I'm walking around as many guns, or actually more guns than I'm walking around cars.
Right.
Maybe just get them so paranoid that they don't leave the house anymore, and then they don't vote.
Which would be fine too.
Yeah, they just order in groceries.
I wonder if some aspect of like what, because you can use the numbers, and I don't remember what they are, because one of the things is, yeah, there's a gun for every person. That doesn't mean every person owns a gun. I mean, it's been shown that like people who have guns tend to have multiple. I think
arsenal owners, they're gun nuts, and they have 50 to 100 to 300 guns each.
I'm trying to remember what the average was. Isn't like the average gun owner has like 3 or 4. So it's like if you have 1, you have 3 or something like that. You know what I mean? I forget what it is. But either way, the point is, what if you say something like, well, when you drove past that house and it had, a car in the driveway, maybe 2 cars in the driveway, it probably had 5 guns in the closet. So it's like every time you see, a car in a driveway, that same house could have guns. Yeah.
Statistically, it has 5 guns in it. Why are you any more afraid of what those 5 guns are than that car in the driveway?
Right.
And if they got 3 cars in the driveway, then that represents one of the people out there that's got 25 or more guns as investments and sporting.
Oh, exactly.
Or whatever, hunting tools.
I don't even want to think about how many I have sitting in my gun room now that my collection's been combined with my buddies. All I know is it takes up the whole corner because we got all sorts of bags. Yeah.
Anyway, that was my idea for a Second Amendment topic. I think our state today, state of the state, is Georgia. There's no Jimmy, I'm assuming.
Yep, that is the state of the state. I can pull that up here in a minute. I guess I probably should have done that earlier, knowing that I have to do it. But
so here's the thing: I just passed a McDonald's, right? I don't know if I talked about this in a thing, but I think I talked about it in a band chat. I was minding my business, and I'm listening to the Google Maps tell me where to go, right? Because I'm listening to the robots, and then it goes, "Take a right at the McDonald's on your right," or something. I'm like, what? Like now they put ads in Google Maps now when they tell you directions.
Really, that's interesting.
Take a right at the McDonald's. Maybe you want to get a milkshake. I don't know. Also, it would add like 3 minutes. You click a button and a milkshake will be waiting for you. I'll bet you it's like a click away. Because if you say, I want to go across town or something on Google Maps, it'll say, okay, here's the fastest route. Okay, and then you click the little microphone and say, vegan tacos. It'll take you to whatever vegan taco is along the way. It'll say add it to your route. So yeah, I'm sure the next thing will be, what do you want to get there? And it'll be waiting in the drive-thru.
Yeah, well, they've already kind of been doing that. I heard a thing. Michigan just launched 1,200 stores that had like the little kiosk. Like, so you walk in and like click the buttons. There's no person at the register, and you just like, pay with a card,
you
or
mean
I think it
a
accepts
regular
cash even
store?
too.
A regular store, not even like McDonald's.
Well, no, I mean a McDonald's
Oh,
that
okay.
that
Because there's
has
a
the.
store. There's some store. It's either in Seattle or San Francisco or one of those like trendy, cool, modern places, and you just walk in there and you grab whatever you want and you leave. And then when you leave, some robot eye can tell what you stole, and then it charges you for everything. So there's no whatever people. There's just probably robots that stock the shelves. So that'll be the next thing. You just go and steal what you want, and it'll figure it out and charge you.
So I know I've seen that in cafeterias in factories where, but again, you still like type in like there's just food on the shelf or whatever, or in the refrigerator, and sandwiches and snacks or whatever, but you grab it and then you type into a little machine what you got and pay for it, and there's a camera that supposedly if you just grab something and walked away, they'd like come get you. But I don't know. You could probably get away with it once if you didn't work there full time. Just saying.
Type in
But
like "bite me" every time you go to type in the number. So that the camera looks like it looks like you're typing something.
right, and then cancel it out and then do another one or something. And
So
I mean, you have to pay for something. Like you pay for the pop, but not any of the other stuff. But anyways, we're not trying to scam.
That's how you rip off the cafeteria in that factory. You're welcome.
Yeah, or you don't do that because you'll get in a lot of trouble, and that's bad. But again, most people are generally good. So you just put food up there and say, hey, you have to pay for this. I bet you 99% of the people go there, grab the thing, and pay for it. So that killed enough time, though. Thanks. So we'll jump into the state of state. But one of the other things we could have done to kill time was talk about a member of the day. So who do we want to talk about as the member of the day today?
One of the girls. So let's do that guy's wife, which is the wife of Clover. And I don't know what her name is because I don't know anybody's name, but she has a name on the internet, and it's called That Guy's Wife. And she's a nice lady, and she made the tablecloth for us. And yeah, pretty cool. She was doing her thing with the Sunday show, I believe. That gal.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to think if I've ever talked with her in a chat. I don't think I have, but I've definitely been commenting along when she's commenting and stuff on other people's hangouts and whatnot. So seems like a nice person.
I've mostly talked with her in real life, but I can understand how you would chat with her. But yeah, it's cool to see ladies on the gun channels and kind of pioneering. There's been girls before, but I like what they're doing. They're doing neat stuff and having fun with it. And very cool.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what's cool about gun channels is it's open to anyone. You can either make your own little corner and hang out there, and everyone just goes there, or you can bounce around and explore all the other stuff and end up being in a big group of people. But yeah, it's a cool place. Good. Whatever. Anyways, let's jump into Georgia then. Got the thing pulled up here. And we'll just
Georgia's on your mind.
Yeah, Georgia's on my mind. Really in the mood for some peaches for some reason.
I've got some peach lemonade at the house, and I'm thinking I'm gonna drink that because we're talking about Georgia.
I mean, I know they come from a can and they were put there by a man in a factory downtown.
I don't know what that is. That song?
Yeah. Anyways, so in Georgia, permit to purchase? Nope. Registration? Nope. Assault weapons law? Nope. Magazine restriction? No. Ownership license? No. Carry permit required? No for long guns. Yes for handguns. It doesn't say if it's shall issue or may issue. It's probably shall, but I don't know that for sure.
Pretty sure it's shall.
Yeah. Open carry, yes for both. Open carry of handguns allowed with a license. So basically, you get your carry license for concealed carry, and then you can open carry as well. Which I've never understood that. I don't like permanent open carry, but I know it's a thing. But whatever. I don't like permits anyways. It should just be constitutional, but whatever. State preemption, yes. So a local restrictions cannot be more restrictive than the state level. There's no restrictions on NFAs. Let's see. Peaceable journey law, no. And then it doesn't know. It says federal rules observed. And then background checks for private sales, no. So of all the major ones, it seems pretty good. And I forgot to pull up, see if there's anything new that's happened recently. That'll take me another minute, but yeah, basically from that little summary, so far so good.
Yeah, it's nice to, when the worst thing about a state is if they don't have constitutional carry. That's about the worst thing we got in the weird open carry issue.
Right, yeah, of all the major ones, right, as far as of, yeah, I agree, that's a good one. Damn it. This thing's being weird. Crap. But anyways, yeah, it's one of them. I've been to Georgia a couple times. Everyone seems nice or whatever. I've talked guns with people down there, and they seem pretty cool.
I really like Georgia, except for the heat, and humidity, and the bugs. I like it, Georgia, quite a bit.
Let's see. In May, this is already of last year. They haven't had much going on recently. It just says governor signs pro-gun legislation into law. Campus carry. What else is in there? It said an omnibus, which means lots of things on the bus. Let's see what else it had. Okay, so provided reciprocity with other states. Prohibited probate judges from suspending, extending, delayed, or avoiding the process of approving a Georgia weapon license application. I guess the GWL is what they call their carry license.
I don't like that. That's stupid.
Let's see, blah, blah, blah. Defines knife in the state code as cutting instrument larger than 12 inches. That's interesting.
Yeah, pretty big. What are they doing in Georgia with 8-inch knives?
Yeah, exactly. Well, they're not knives. They're 8-inch Sharpie thingies.
Yeah, they're just pieces of metal. They just happen to be
And
sharp.
then I like this one. This is something that's kind of been in the news recently, but it prohibits discrimination by financial institutions against firearm industry simply because they're engaged in the lawful commerce of firearms.
Oh, didn't they do that because of American Airlines?
What about American Airlines?
I think that they did that specifically because American Airlines was sticking with NRA.
Well, that was financial institutions, though, so I think that's more Operation Choke Point, where like credit card processing companies would say, like, we're not going to process your credit cards because you sell guns. Or banks are like, you can't have a savings account with us because you're a gun store.
Or Operation Choke Out.
Haven't heard of that one.
Yeah. What was it? Was it United or what was the airline where that guy refused to get off?
Oh,
I don't know. It's got nothing to do with Georgia gun laws, though.
Oh.
That's a completely different thing where they dragged him off or whatever. But anyways, the big one in the news is the Bank of America, which I think is that part of Citigroup or something. I get all the big ones confused, but I know specifically the Bank of America is one that they're basically like stop doing business with gun manufacturers. Like they're not going to give loans to like whatever, either startup companies or anything that makes quote unquote like assault weapons. And that's one of those, like, I don't know. I'm torn on it because half of me is going, okay, well, you're a company. You should be able to give your money, like lend your money to whoever you want. But at the same time, it's like you're discriminating against them because of what their business is, not because you think it's going to fail. Like, I understand that if you go in and go, I want a loan, I want $5 million. What are you going to do with it? I'm going to start a business, like, I don't know, whatever, something stupid. They're going to go, well, crap, that business is going to fail. We're never going to get our $5 million back. No, we're not giving you the loan. I get they make those decisions. But if financially your business is doing good or it's projected to do good, you shouldn't be like, well, I don't like what you're doing, I'm not giving you money. But then the other half of me is like, well, they should be allowed to do whatever they want, and I'll just bank with someone else. I don't have a Bank of America savings account. If I did, I would close it and go to a different one because screw them.
As long as that company doesn't have either a real or a quasi monopoly on the market.
Right.
Meaning as long as you have choices.
Yeah, and I don't know how many other things are included in the overall branch of the Bank of America things. They probably own different ones. And I know once you get up to the top, there's only a couple banking institutions anyways that pretty much own all banks. But anyways, back to Georgia. That was about it. Was like last year's stuff where they signed a handful of pro-gun things, mostly related to the carry permit. So they're pretty good, and they don't seem to be getting worse. They haven't introduced anything since the recent craziness. So there you go. That was Georgia. So what do we want to jump into now? Do we have we have a gun shop. We want to do that?
What do we have in there?
Tulsa OK Shooting Range.
So Dana was there. That's the range that we did the gun channel shoot.
Was it United States Shooting Academy? Is that was the name of it? I believe so.
It was not the Tulsa Sheriff's shooting range.
Or super secret hideaway for the Oklahoma
right, so
secret.
What do you think it was called, Dano? I'm going to try and see if it's
United States Shooting Academy.
Is this going to have feedback? And sort of, I guess it is.
Yeah, you had to leave with the other one or whatever.
Yeah. So did that blow Dano out?
No.
So yeah, that was the range we're talking about today for our gun shop of the day. Is the range that we visited at for the gun channel shoot. You've been there twice already, I guess.
Yep, that was the second time I've been there, and I got to say the second time, due to the stars aligning just perfectly, was the charm for me anyway.
All right, so I found their website here. That's a pretty cool picture.
A few of those we got to shoot, and that was the actual range that we were on.
Now, is that stuff that the range had? Like, do they have those guns for rental or whatever?
Or I'm not sure about the ownership aspects of it, as far as whether it's the range or somebody in partnership with the range. That I don't know.
Are they available to shoot at the range? Is I guess the question.
Yes, but it's something that needs to be prearranged.
Okay, so maybe they don't live there or something.
It's not like you just don't go walk up and go, hey, I'm going to shoot a machine gun. And they go, here you go. And you walk away with it for a while and come back later and say, here's your machine gun back.
Oh, man, look at this picture. Look at all these Wolverines here. That's pretty cool.
Yep. It's a lot of AKs.
I wonder if they were doing some type of special thing.
Well, Fuller standing there on the left, so I'm guessing it was a build class.
Yeah, you're right. That is Fuller. Yeah, I would think so. I didn't know he did them on the road because isn't that usually like a 4-day deal or something like that?
I don't think it's 4 days. A day.
Well, looks like they do some competitive shooting. They had 3 Gun Nation, IDPA Steel Challenge, and USPSA. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a cool range for sure.
Yeah. In my limited experience, it's definitely for an outdoor range, one of the nicer ranges for sure.
Over 60 acres of shooting ranges, bays, and training areas.
The only thing I'd say it's lacking on is bathrooms, because there's just like the little porta shitters everywhere. But otherwise, pretty nice facility.
Wow, yeah, look at all those.
In a large facility like that, that's pretty much the way most of them go that I've ever seen, because it's not practical to put indoor plumbing all around an outdoor facility like that. I mean, with that many bays of that size. I mean, I've been to Aurora Sportsman's Club, which is a very large outdoor facility, which is not, for some reason, it's not in Aurora, Illinois. It's actually in the countryside, but is a very large, very well-known national. When I say national, I mean it's known nationally range. In fact,
it looks pretty nice. They got the coverings, and these are nice. These are nice bays. Go back. Oh, that's the one I wanted to see.
Yeah.
The shooting benches and all that stuff. Yeah, looks pretty cool.
I mean, it's definitely a step up from my outdoor range. I mean, we have earthen berms like that separating each one of the lanes. It's just that everything is nice and straight and perfect. My outdoor range is from an old sand quarry, so not everything is perfectly straight, but gets the job done. And they have trainers, if I remember correctly, that are there regularly, doing classes, and then they have people who do traveling classes that come in and out.
Right. Yeah, they say that I'm on the training page here, and it says all different, training on all different skill levels for, if you're a novice looking to learn the basics or professional competitive shooter seeking additional practice. They also train law enforcement, military, federal agents, and tailor our training to meet the individual or organizational goals and needs. Personal training is available, one-on-one instructor or in a group setting. You can have a corporate or private event, create training interest, blah, blah, blah.
Notice anything interesting in that picture?
Nope.
Hearing protection?
Yeah, they don't have it on. They're probably going through some kind of drill.
I'm just wondering if they just posed for a picture.
No, they're probably doing a drill. Some kind of a sighting in drill or drawing.
Yeah. Dry fire thing or something.
Yeah.
Just a cold range.
That's a good point.
So
yeah, they did have a vehicle there as well. I'm just looking at that picture down below. It showed somebody guys shooting underneath a vehicle. They did have a car there.
Yeah, that looks like that's one of the competition ones, because you got that snow fencing in the background, and of course he's wearing a fishing vest, so that's probably some IDPA thing, because they love their vests. They look at you weird if you just wear a regular inside the waistband holster for IDPA. They're like, "What the heck you doing? How come you're not like going faster?"
What? It's because you have to wear a cover garment because it's more realistic than IPSC.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is, if you choose your cover garment just to be your T-shirt like
Oh, I
I
see.
would normally wear all my life.
I got you.
They're like, what? You're hurting your score. And I was like, I didn't think that was the point of it. I'm not saying at that place. At the place I went to, all the IDPA people were like, "Oh, you should get this other stuff. You'll go faster." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'd rather just use what I'm gonna normally use."
And I think that simply illustrates that people have different motivations to attending those events. For some people, it's strictly the competition and trying to and the enjoyment of competing against other people. Where for others, it's trying to improve their defensive capabilities, and that's kind of the difference, I think.
Yeah.
Unless they're wearing vests in everyday life.
Yeah, I mean, they could be tactical Danos.
Nobody wears a vest all the time like that.
True that. Every once in a while, you got to take that vest off.
So, anyways, oh, that's cool. So that was our gun shop of the day, and looked like a pretty cool place. What do we want to get into now, fellas?
Let's see what kind of history we got. We already talked about it earlier today, I guess.
Well, we got plenty of history. I mean, think of the history of us, the three of us plus others. We got history.
Oops.
Did you have something specific? I thought I saw something earlier as well. I'll go pull up the thing and look at like the other history part, but you have something you know off the top of your head?
It was Arizona's concealed carry anniversary the other day. Oh, it looks like April 17th is the United States Special Operations Command's birthday, April 17th, 1987. So, Spec Ops, basically they take the people that had been outside the spectrum of command and put them all under their own command. So when you think of like a Navy SEAL, they were Navy, but they were given tasks that were outside the realm of the Navy. When you talk about Air Force, Special Ops, whatever they're called, aviation, again, they're flying around people that are outside the realm of normal tasks of the branches. So I guess in 87, they decided to put all the special operations under the U.S. Spec Op Command. Or U.S. SOCOM, excuse me. So today's the birthday, April 17th.
What year was that?
87.
Okay.
1987.
And then for the 18th, since it's Tomorrowland where I live, in 1775, Paul Revere and William Dawes ride through towns in Massachusetts warning the British are coming. Blah, blah, blah. Some other stuff. Doolittle bombs Tokyo and other Japanese cities in 1942.
Where was it that he landed? Was it China or?
Yeah, if landing's a word you could say. All the pilots basically crashed. I think one of them landed, but everyone survived.
Right.
But they lost all the aircraft.
Yeah, and I yeah, that I remember because they knew ahead of time they didn't have enough gas.
Right, they had to launch earlier than they wanted to because they got spotted by like a patrol boat or something. And even though like the cruiser that was hanging with the aircraft carrier shot the control boat or patrol boat, they didn't know if he radioed in or whatever, so they took off early. And the fact that they still like took off knowing that like, hey, we don't have enough gas to safely land anywhere. Yeah, let's do it anyways. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Also, Japanese Admiral some person who was the mastermind of Pearl Harbor was shot down by an American P-38 fighter in 1943.
I'm no bomber expert, but I'm pretty sure that those bombers, let alone any other bombers, are not designed to land on water, which is, if I remember, what a number of them did.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought they all crashed into China, but Either way, I know that they were like a medium range bomber or whatever, and they were the biggest thing that they figured out could launch from an aircraft carrier. But they knew they couldn't land on an aircraft carrier. That's why they just did a straight through.
In fact, it's kind of interesting having the Army Air Corps take off from a Navy ship.
Well, yeah, that was before. I don't know, whatever.
Well, before it was the Air Force, but it would still be just as unusual.
No one really was born on this day. That seems interesting. So I think that's the day in history. Or tomorrow, if you're in Tomorrowland like me. So how about...
The guy who invented Cliff Notes was born in 1918.
Oh, that dude saved my college career.
Clarence Darrow, the lawyer, was born in 1857. The monkey lawyer.
You mean 1857?
Monkey trap. Yeah, 1857.
You said 1957.
Yep, they would have been like 4. So yeah.
You would have been like, let's see.
Less than that.
4. So you would have been 61. Ish.
All right. Do we have a movie of the day? It's blank on our schedule. You know what? I'm going to pick the movie of the day because I just watched it the other day, and I'm kind of running the show today, so you have to do it anyways. And I'm going to go with Animal Farm.
How ironic is that?
I don't think it's ironic at all.
Considering there were these 3 fellows that discussed this very movie.
It doesn't seem ironic. It seems like lazy recycling that you pointed out. Come on.
Yeah, they wouldn't even have known if they didn't say that.
Hey, I didn't point out anybody. I just said 3 fellows. I didn't say I knew the fellows.
Okay. Anyways, yes, I watched Animal Farm on the Amazons, and I thought it was going to be the cartoon version, which I remember watching at some point. I think I own it because I saw it at the dollar store one day. It was like, I'm going to buy this. So I think I have it somewhere. But anyways, I clicked on it, and it was like a live action version of Animal Farm. And they seem to use a mix of like actual animals doing the whole like Mr. Ed thing, like getting them to kind of talk, and puppetry, because there's definitely some scenes like they're like a close up, like the one pig's giving a speech and like close up on his face. It's like that's definitely a puppet. Like it looked weird. But I don't know. It's kind of a gun movie because the farmers attacked them or whatever, but they seem to all have like break opens and things. But it's a good reminder that, you know, communism and like socialism and dictatorship, all that kind of stuff tends to not work.
I think it's a good movie book because it's something that works for kids, right? We all read it when we're kids.
It was part, you know, it is essentially a variation of propaganda.
I guess, but it's like big.
And I don't mean propaganda because we always hear that word and we think it's a really bad thing when you hear the word propaganda. But it's espousing a political position. And that doesn't mean it's good nor bad. It's just that it means that it's tilted towards something.
Well, I guess I just mean that they did big, important topics in a way that kids can digest it. So, you know, in that aspect, I think it's...
Yeah. And as we all know, when you want to steer the future, you get the kids and you get them young. And I'm not trying to be a pessimist, but our public education system in regards to firearms seems to be affected by that very thing.
Yeah, I liked it. I'm gonna give it a thumb up. It was, you know, a little cheesy with the live action thing, but also kind of a cool take. Like I said, I remembered the cartoon, and the thumbnail on Amazon is like a cartoon animal. So I'm like, this has to be the one that I have seen before. I just wanted to watch it again, and it was not.
Yeah, since I read the book, and although I didn't see that variation, I saw the previous one, so I'll also give it a thumbs up just based off of those other two factors.
I'll give it a thumbs up because I haven't seen that specific one. It seems kind of creepy to me. I think it might be distracting almost. I like the cartoon because you kind of, easy enough to digest it that way. But if it was too interesting, I think you might lose some of the story, no?
Right, but and its attractiveness or its potency was that it communicated a very strong message at a very elementary level. That's what its beauty was.
Yeah, I mean, I think kids would still enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
I maybe the cartoon's better, but in fact, I'm trying to think back. Part of the reason I wanted to watch is I had kind of forgotten what the cartoon one was. I mean, I know the general story and whatnot, and that's why I wanted to watch it again. But yeah, maybe the other one's a little bit better, but this one I know for a fact is on Amazon, and if people want to watch it, kill an afternoon, just watch a video. It's interesting.
Yep, because once a child is old enough to discern right from wrong and the basic concept of fairness, they're old enough to understand that movie.
Right, because then they're like, well, wait a minute, how come the pigs get to eat all the food or whatever? That doesn't seem right.
Exactly. It doesn't have to be a complicated high-level understanding. It could be a basic level understanding. That's all that's required.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
Good
So
book.
that's our movie of the day. Go check it out.
Yep. And movie worth checking.
Yep. Well, I don't know. We don't have a gun of the day. I think we're pretty much wrapping up here. Unless you guys wanted to talk about a gun of the day.
Yeah, you kind of already talked about that gun. The front gun you stole off your friend.
That it's true. Yeah, I mean, you mean the one that it got lost, and so I don't know why I didn't bring it up north with me.
Did you go boating this afternoon?
I might have.
Or
Maybe
you
a couple of
drove
those
across
others.
the bridge and the door popped open, or?
Yeah, I think it fell off the back of my truck.
Look, I can't be responsible for every single gun you leave here. My guns, they're going to be left.
Okay, so we did have a gun of the day, the Mac 11.
Was the 11 the 380?
Yes.
Yes, but this is a 9mm, so it's kind of a variation of it. But I've been saying 10 this whole time, and I was told that was wrong. So now I know the correct one. It's hard because like the actual thing stamped on the sides, like the whatever MRJ 92-5 or it's like, oh, I don't remember that number. So, anyways, all right, cool. Well, then I think we wrapped it up. Someone want to do a quote? Or do we want to just end it here? And well, we got to talk about what's going on tomorrow on Gun Channels. So, Dano, what's going on tomorrow on Gun Channels?
Let's see. Tomorrow, which is today, is Wednesday. And let's see. You've got the early watch, possibly going on in the morning. Hopefully it will. And then I'm trying to think. In the afternoon, I think Spotted Rick has a show, doesn't he? On Wednesday afternoons?
He does.
He does? Well, my God, I got 2 in a row so far. Now I'm going to blow it. I know later in the evening, of course, Never Enough Ammo is on. But I think just before him is Clover Tack. Is that correct?
Yep.
And then who is after Matt? I'm drawing a blank there.
Us.
Well, I hadn't gotten to the end of the day, but yeah, the Daily Gun Show, of course, would be 24 hours approximately from now.
Or 23 hours from now.
Yep. And if I missed anybody, I'm sorry. And I may have.
That's all that's on the schedule on Gun Channels. A note on that, If you do a show and would like it listed on the schedule on Gun Channels, I have offered my time and services to edit that page. Just send me a message over on Gun Channel saying, hey, I do a show Thursday night at 8 o'clock. It's called this, blah, blah, blah. Especially if you have a channel on Gun Channels that you post it. I can help you with that a little bit as well if you want help setting stuff up. I had one person send me a message saying, hey, how do I get my show added? I replied with, what's it called and when is it? And did not get a response. So they were a step away from getting it added to the schedule, but did not follow through. They were in the right place when they said, how do I add one? You ask me and I'll do it for you. There's other people who can do it as well, but that's something that I am offering my time. It doesn't take very long. It just has to be I'm near my computer at the time. So don't expect instantaneous, but I will do it for people because I'd like to see as many shows as possible being listed so we can all share our audience and let everyone know. And I'm also going to take this time to encourage people to do their own show and maybe even take some of the stuff that you hear, like on our show, we talk about something, but don't dig super deep into it. If you're like, oh, they missed this, they missed that, instead of just yelling at the computer screen that we're doing a bad job, do one yourself and dedicate a whole hour, 2 hours, 5 hours, however long you want to that specific topic. You dig in as deep as you want. And I encourage everyone to do that.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
Right on. Well said.
We're just like Johnny Appleseed. We're throwing around the seeds, and they're good-looking seeds. They're kind of tasty, but you could turn that seed into a tree and then have a whole orchard.
Yep, definitely. So
somebody posted a video on the front page of Gun Channels, some YouTube channel with 800,000 subscribers. I never even heard of the channel before. I can't remember the name of it, but I was watching this video. And one of the things they said in the video is, do you know why when you look at a fence line, there's so many plants and stuff along the fence?
I do not know why.
You know why, Smeggy?
I do not.
The suggestion offered there was that when the birds sit on the fence and they poop, a certain amount of seeds and whatever in their poops. And that's how plants, get around through the system of the birds. They eat and then poop it, and birds are sitting on fences. I guess that makes some sense.
It definitely does. So are we asking our audience to go out on the social medias and poop everywhere? Because I'm for that.
So if we're going to use that logic, then wherever there's a telephone line, you would think there'd be an inordinate amount of things growing.
Stuff underneath of it. Yeah.
There probably is.
It might want to live, but if it gets stepped on, it gets stepped on.
That might be the other part of it too. Now that if we're going to dig into this, is that like a telephone line might go right across like a big open field. It's easy to cut underneath a telephone line. It's not easy to mow the grass under a fence. So it also gives a little bit of protection.
Very true.
But anyways, your first part was true. So unless you guys have something else, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. And I actually did find kind of a quote that I'd like to read. Do you guys have anything else?
Nope, I'm good.
We'll see you tomorrow.
All right. So everyone, thanks for listening. Like, share, subscribe. Tell your friends. Blah, 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 blah. Join Gun Channels. And anyways, this is more of a conversation, not really a quote. And it's kind of a meme, but I see it on Marcus Allen Weldon, who's the Santa Claus shooter. He wrote a book, blah, blah, blah. It's actually a very interesting story. Talked about it before. But anyways, so two different people talking. First one, I'm afraid of guns. Why? They can kill you. So why aren't you afraid of your car? Because I learned how to drive it. Exactly. So there you go.
Lights.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thanks for watching GunWebsites.com.